Jules, we're not done. We have more quick hits.
Yes.
Barring divine intervention, Liverpool will be crowned Premier League champions this year, and deservedly so. But Jules, they've lost 3 of their last 4, including Saturday's 3-2 defeat away to Fulham. And this was marked by a horrendous first half in which they managed just 2 shots overall. One of them, McAllister's wonder strike.
Yeah, the goal. They took the lead, and after that, they just stopped everything they were doing. They just made mistakes defensively. Robertson, Konate, Van Dijk. Everybody, like pretty much everyone, Gravenberch. I think they were complacent. That's what Arne Slot said as well after taking the lead there. Maybe second half was much better, and on another day maybe this finished 3-3 and they managed to salvage a point. But Fulham were aggressive. They were in their face. They took the game away from them in that first half. Scored 3 goals, obviously on the back of mistakes, but still took their goals well. And it was just not good enough from Liverpool overall.
I'll tell you what, I think it's physical and it's mental. They just came from 3 straight games that were incredibly mentally taxing in Paris Saint-Germain, the League Cup final, and the Merseyside derby. Physically, they're slowing down because the same guys have played a ton of minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to get totally G'd up for 4 games in a row. I think the club made some choices this year. I think the club are aware of it. I think this is going to be a really, really big summer of comings and goings. And look, and I'm not saying that they need to jettison, that they need to say no thank you to Salah and Van Dijk and send them on their way. Maybe they stay, but there has to be more work done. It's unusual to say that of a team that's done so well, but I think that's just the reality of where they are at this moment in time. Arsenal, Real Madrid's opponents on Tuesday night, are held to a 1-1 draw to Everton as Arteta shuffles his deck. Jules, are you as angry about the penalty as he is?
No, as angry, no, but I don't think it was a pen. I think there's a foul outside of the box. I don't think it should have been given. I think it's clumsy from Luis Kelly, but we said again, the kid is not a left back by formation. He's not a defender. He's a midfielder, and you see that when he gets on the ball. But defensively, you also see him being a little bit clumsy at times. But yeah, I just don't. I don't think this was a good game. Full stop. I think Arsenal could have seen the game out. They had the poor start of the second half. That penalty was a little bit harsh, I felt, but they still didn't do enough to win even after that.
I'm really curious about this because obviously Calafiori injured again. Timber, he was recovering. He came on. I think he's trying to keep him fit. But Timber's a left back, right? Timber can play left back.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. Luis Skelly, I do not watch the young Gunners, but he was a central midfielder before that. Part of me says maybe they need him more in that position when everybody's fit.
Yeah.
The other question, we'll never know, obviously, but if this game had taken place after the Liverpool game, do you think Arteta would have played more of his starters, Odegaard on the bench, Partey on the bench, Saka on the bench?
It's a good question, yeah.
Martinelli on the bench?
I don't know. I think it was all due to the Real Madrid game on Tuesday more than the situation with Liverpool. But yeah, maybe not so many.
If this game kicked off at 3 and Liverpool kicked off at 12:30, let's say.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, you're right.
I think he made the right decision, and it was the right decision regardless. You have to believe. And look, Everton on the beach in that first half.
Yeah. Completely.
Enzo Maresca decides to rotate heavily, and speaking of rotation, and Chelsea are held to a 0-0 draw with Brentford. Jules, did he get it wrong?
So I've got a question for you because watching the game, I was going to text you and then I thought you'd be watching it and you're not going to be happy, obviously, because it was such a bad performance from Chelsea. Did he do the? Did he rotate? Because Legia Warsaw are coming, like scary Legia Warsaw are coming on Thursday in the Conference League? Really? Because if they were playing Barcelona or Real Madrid on Thursday, I would go like, okay, maybe I understand. And maybe there was some, he was managing the minutes of some. Obviously, Nico comes back from an injury. Cole Palmer was also a bit injured during the international break. So, okay, maybe there's a bit of that.
You're going to ask me, what was wrong? Why was Kukurea not playing, for example?
Right? Is it really? Surely it's not for Legia Warsaw.
I think Legia Warsaw, I think he desperately wants to win a trophy.
Yeah.
I don't think he's taking anything for granted. I think he looks around in his bench. I think this kind of proves what we said, that for all the money they spend on the smartest people in the room, this bench is not good. Christopher Nkunku at center forward is not good. And the other option, Mark Yu, who I'm assuming is injured, he's been injured all the time, is terrible. So I don't need to see him, right?
Yeah.
The reality is these very smart people have built a team that's still Cole Palmer dependent. Cole Palmer is not himself. He's been ill. He's not been good for a while, whatever. He said, let me see what the other guys can do, and then I can bring these guys on. They did look better after they came on. But yes, I think that's what he was doing.
And sticking with Chelsea, the Times report that they're already in talks with UEFA to reach a settlement agreement because they appear certain to breach the sustainability rules.
Yeah, I mean, this is open and shut, right? There are certain transactions which Chelsea did to meet profit and sustainability rules in the Premier League, like selling their hotel group to themselves, which is their holding company, Blueco, selling the women's team to themselves. That, by the way, is yet to be approved, as we told you before. UEFA does not allow that. And so they're going to reach what's called a settlement agreement. You might remember those original ones were signed by Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City in the first season of financial fair play. I think this is going to result... I think UEFA don't want to ban anybody, so I think this is going to result in a fine and then also a spending plan, spending limits where they have to show X amount of revenue every year for X amount of years. Otherwise, more punishments kick in. Brennan Johnson bags 2 goals as Tottenham beat Southampton 3-1. Jules, nothing like playing the league cellar dwellers at home to turn that frown upside down.
You're right, although I was not even... I don't think that was even convincing from... They were always going to win. Southampton are so bad, and we will talk about Southampton next, but... I know they won 3-1. The third goal come in garbage time, as you like to say, Matistel penalty. And before that, they had chances. But yeah, it was still not that great. I think like a lot of people left before the end. Still a lot of fans not happy with Ange. Really, it's all about Frankfurt and the Europa League anyway. Thursday and the week after.
People were saying Matistel was selfish for taking that penalty rather than Brennan Johnson because he could have had a hat-trick. Yeah. Is that legit?
I don't know. The kid hadn't scored yet. He wanted to score. It's a penalty. But Brennan Johnson is a big boy.
The kid's a Bayern player. Brennan Johnson plays for Tottenham.
Take the ball and say like, listen, I'm taking it.
I think you're being anti-Welsh.
And defeat for Southampton means that they are relegated, and Gab, they've also set a new record.
Yeah, nobody in the history of the Premier League, so in other words, since 1992, has ever been relegated with 7 games to go. Now, this is... I mean, look, let's face it. The bottom 3 teams are almost certainly going to go down.
Yeah.
This is an issue, I think. This is an issue for the Premier League, that the gap between... Because this is happening increasingly year after year. The worst teams are really, really bad.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you address it. It's not like Southampton didn't throw some money at it this year. But, yeah, it means the last 7 games are going to suck for Ivan Juric and everybody else. Your boy Unai Emery does it again, Jules. Huge win over Nottingham Forest, and they're up to 6th in the table, 1 point from the Champions League spots.
Yeah, I mean, really, the form since the turn of the year and the new signings has been great. This was a great first half, really good start of the game. Then they switched off completely at halftime, which is, in a way, sums up their season quite well because they can blow hot and cold in the same games. They've been a bit like that all season. I mean, they're 6th, as you said, 1 point behind 5th place, and they've
gone deep in the cup competitions too, which is pretty huge.
Yeah, it's huge, but their goal difference is 0, which again shows you the team that they've been so far this season. Like you're not 6th in the Premier League with a goal difference of 0. This just doesn't happen. So they haven't defended that great at all season long. They were not good defensively in this game, but they just about did enough to manage to win that game, which is a massive, massive win for them, of course. Wrexham, remember them, are looking for new investors. Gab, are you surprised?
No, they lost nearly $10 million over the last 2 years. That's in addition to the amount of money they put into the club. Look, Ryan Reynolds is a very, very, very rich man, and not just through his acting, but through some of his investments. His missus is Blake Lively. He leads a fantastic life, and he's very handsome. Rob McElhenney, not quite as handsome.
But he's from Philadelphia.
But he's from Philadelphia, so he makes up for that.
So, yeah.
However, at some point, they have to get a return, right? So, and guess what? Turns out that making a streaming show is undoubtedly very lucrative, but it doesn't turn Wrexham into Real Madrid in terms of revenue. So they're looking for other investors to keep the thing going forward. My concern is, what is Wrexham's ceiling ultimately? Because it's not a big town. It's not a big place. It's not a wealthy place.
Yeah.
You can only expand the stadium so much. You can only generate, they've got some really, really smart people working for them to generate extra revenue and whatever else. But ultimately, there's only so much you can create. And but if you're looking for new investors, good for them. I mean, I think they, in the eyes of many, they put Wrexham on the map. And many outside of North Wales. Jules, this brings us to an end. But the Champions League is back. I am hyped. I am hyped and I am amped for the Champions League. You're going on holiday. I'm going to be back on Thursday. Until then, love the game, love your neighbor, love yourself.